For I will gather all nations against Jerusalem to battle. I will gather all nations against Jerusalem to battle. Shalom, Achims. This is your Hebrew Israelite brother, Mashaba, here in the city of Detroit. We'd like to give all praises and all honors to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash, double honors and to the apostles and elders of the great millstone that taught us the truth, peace and salutations to the hopeful elects. Shalom. Welcome to today's lesson. Today's lesson is on I will gather all nations against Jerusalem to battle. Okay? Zechariah chapter 14, verse 2. Okay, let's take a good look at that. Let's read that right now. Bring that down, bring this up. And it reads, For I will gather all nations against Jerusalem to battle, and the city, talking about America, shall be taken, and the houses rifled, and the women ravished, and half of the city shall go forth into captivity. You see, this is martial law, under martial law. And the residue of the people shall not be cut off from the city. Okay, now let's read that in the NLT. Okay, and it reads, I will gather all nations to fight against Jerusalem. The city will be taken, the houses looted, and the women raped. You see, the 2/3 can look forward to this. We're not talking about Jerusalem, the land. We're talking about Jerusalem, the people. Okay, we're talking about the northern kingdom. Okay, we're talking about the 2/3, basically of the 12 tribes of Israel. Okay, this is what's going to be happening in the houses over here in America of the 2/3. Okay, half the population will be taken into captivity, and the rest will be left among the ruins of the city. You see? Verse 3. Then the Lord will go out to fight against those nations he has fought in times past. You see? All these things are going to happen, are going to occur right here in America and abroad. And his feet shall stand in that day upon the Mount of Olives, which is before Jerusalem, on the east, and the Mount of Olives shall cleave in the midst thereof toward the east and toward the west, and there shall be a very great valley, and half of the mountain shall remove toward the north, and half of it toward the south. You see, all these things are going to be occurring. Let's go up here and grab some of these precepts that's inside of Zechariah chapter 14, verse 2. Okay, verse 2. Let's go back up into verse 2 and go into it and get the precepts. Okay, let's go into it right here. Let's see, we're going to go into the cross-reference and get the precepts. Now, these are the precepts for verse 2, Zechariah chapter 14. We're going to read the verse. For I will gather all nations against Jerusalem to battle, and the city shall be taken, and the houses rifled, and the women ravished, and half of the city shall go forth into captivity, and the residue of the people shall not be cut off from the city. You see, now the precept, look at all these precepts we got for this. Okay, we're going to read some of these precepts. You see, we're going to go to some of these right now. We got quite a bit of them, actually. Let's start off right here. This Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 9. The Lord shall establish thee an holy people unto himself. Because we are holy people unto the Lord. You see, Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 1 through 6. The Lord makes it clear. We are a special people unto the Lord. He chose us not because we're fewer or more in number, but because he loves us. You see, that's the reason why he chose us. You see, as he had sworn unto thee, if thou shalt keep the commandments of the Lord thy God and walk in his ways. You see, and walk in his ways. Verse 10. And all people of the earth shall see that thou art called by the name of the Lord. You see? You see? Because we are a special chosen people unto him. And they shall be afraid of thee when that time come. Verse 11. And the Lord shall make thee plenteous in goods, in the fruit of thy body, and in the fruit of thy cattle, and in the fruit of the ground, in the land which the Lord swore unto thy fathers to give thee. You see? This is Deuteronomy 28, verse 12. The Lord shall open unto thee his good treasure. You see? You see, we look forward to that. And the heaven to give the rain unto thee, unto thy land in his season, and to bless all the work of thine hand. You see, and that's a blessing right there. Everything that you do is blessed by thy hands. And thou shalt lend unto many nations, and thou shalt not borrow. See, because right now we in a situation where we can't borrow. I mean, we can't. Yeah, we can't. We can borrow, but we can't lend because we don't have any established wealth to lend any nation. You see, verse 13, and the Lord shall make thee the head and not the tail, and thou shalt be above only, and shall not be beneath. You see, that means always on top of everything that goes down. We're on top. No matter what happens, we're atop, on top, above. If that thou hearken unto the commandments of the Lord thy God, we can look forward to this, which I command thee this day to observe and to do them. Salakia. Verse 14. And thou shalt not go aside from any of the words which I command thee this day, to the right hand or to the left, to go after other gods, to serve them. You see? Isaiah chapter 5, verse 26. And he will lift up an ensign to the nations from far, and will hiss unto them from the end of the earth. And behold, they shall come with speed swiftly. You see? Jeremiah chapter 34, verse 1. The word which came unto Jeremiah from the Lord, when Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, and all his army, and all the kingdoms of the earth of his dominion, and all the people fought against Jerusalem, and against all the cities thereof, saying, you see? Then chapter 2, verse 40, and forth And the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron. For as much as iron breaketh in pieces, and subdueth all things, and as iron that breaketh all these, shall it break in pieces and bruise. You see, the Lord is going to destroy all the nations that have taken counsel against us and that have destroyed us in many ways, and that have taken us into captivity. They too shall be taken into captivity and shall serve us when the time comes. Daniel chapter 2, verse 41. And whereas thou sawest the feet and toes, part of potter's clay, and part of iron, the kingdom shall be divided. You see, but there shall be in it of the strength of the iron, for as much as thou sawest the iron mixed with mire clay. You see, let's go on down and read, because we got a whole bunch of them here. Matthew chapter 22, verse 7. But when the king heard thereof, he was wroth, and he sent forth his armies, and destroyed those murderers, and burned up their city. You see, when the time come, Luke chapter 2, verse 1. And it came to pass in those days that there went out a decree from Caesar Augustus that all the world should be taxed. You see, now this is concerning the city. Matthew chapter 23, verse 37. O Jerusalem, Jerusalem, thou that killest the prophets and stonest them which are sent unto thee, how often would I have gathered thy children together, even as a hen gathered her chickens under her wings, and ye would not. You see, Matthew chapter 23, verse 38. Behold, your house is left unto you desolate. Matthew 24:15. When ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation, spoken of by Daniel the prophet, stand in the holy place, whereso readeth, let him understand it. You see, because the time is coming when all of America shall be under siege. In the northern kingdom here, Jerusalem, you see, the 10 tribes, basically, like I said, the 2/3 are going to be in trouble because it's going to be martial law. It's going to be a lot of killing. 911 is going to be turned off. It's going to be a whole lot of rapes and murders. I mean, every man, woman, and child is going to be on their own. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy. Matthew chapter 24, verse 16. Then left them which be in Judea flee into the mountains. You see? Mark chapter 13, verse 14. But when ye shall see the abomination of desolation of the church spoken of by Daniel the prophet, standing where it ought not, let him that readeth and understand. Then let them that be in Judea flee to the mountains. Because the time is going to come where in the city, it ain't going to be no safe place to be. It ain't going to be no safe place to be. The best thing to do now, remember, Yahweh, he has strengthened us in understanding. Because the children are light of light, well, the children of this world is wiser than the children of light because they at least got enough sense to take extra provisions. It's okay to stock up a little extra food, a little extra water, or different things. You don't have to hoard, but Yahweh gives us enough sense of understanding to see these things coming, so that we can prepare. You know that we should prepare and have some things set up for ourselves. You know, and so and a good thing to do now would be to try to find a a place of refuge where one can have some quiet time, or um, at least when things first initially shut down, have somewhere where one could be and feel safe as one continue in their prayers and supplications, and in uh, fasting, and being able to do all these different things, and praying unto Yahweh Shem Yahushua to provide, you know, and to watch over us, keep us safe, provide food and water for us, and because he makes it clear, Isaiah chapter 65 and verse 13, behold, my servant, they shall eat. Behold, my servant, they shall drink. Behold, my servant shall joy and gladness of heart, and all these things. But everybody else is going to be on board. They're going to be hungry. They're going to be thirsty, and they're going to have condemnation forever, everlasting. You see? So, that's just simply the way that is, And so we can look forward to things getting proper, being proper for us. Mark chapter 13, verse 19. For in those days shall be affliction. You see, much affliction on a lot of us, such as was not from the beginning of the creation. You see, so it's going to be a show of hell. You see, which God created unto this time, neither shall be. You see, and so all these things is coming that people can look forward to. Luke chapter 19, verse 43. For the day shall come upon thee that thine enemies shall cast a trench about thee, you see, and compass thee around, and keep thee in on every side. And that's pretty much what's being done right now. You see the food situation, and they've made it where they've shut down roads, collapsed roads, making it look like accidents, tanker trucks filled with gasoline, blowing up bridges and stuff by accident. Are we sure? All these train derailments, with food and other materials and different things. The truckers don't been on strike, and they having a hard time, and they're not making any monies. You're having a shutdown there, plus the shipping containers out at seas. Those were out at sea. They stopped talking about those because the food and everything that was on those containers that been dumped, and all that was months ago, almost a year ago. You see, and so. And then so you have all these different things, and then the warehouses are full, but they don't have the truckers to really get the food from the warehouses to the supermarkets like they need to, plus inflation, plus gas prices going up, plus utility prices going up, and people being bombarded from every angle, plus unemployment, that's been on the rise too, and people are not being able to work like they want to, people having a hard time, people's houses are foreclosing, all these different things are going on. These many different things are happening, you see. And so people are being bombarded from all around, like a trench, all being dug all around. And what the people are able to do? Nothing. Because the people are being bombarded by Esau with all types of uh, uh, interferences in their lives. They got to be bothered with their daily life. They got to be bothered with the care and the love of their loved ones, their friends, their co-workers. They got to be bothered with the plantation, their job. They got to, and the image that they try to uphold there, and the image they try to uphold at home. and and they be bothered with their neighbors and so forth. All these different things, all these different distractions, and it's keeping them from really paying attention. And compass thee around and keep thee in on every side. Luke chapter 19, verse 44. And shall lay thee even with the ground. You see? And that means to actually just walk all over us, all over the people. It's what our enemies have been doing. And thy children. You see? And our children within thee. And they shall not leave in thee one stone upon another. You see? That means being thorough, because thou knowest not the time of thy visitation. You see? You see? That keeps us in peril. That keeps us held in derision about whatever we're trying to do, you know. So we have to maintain a constant prayer and relationship with Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. Keep pushing His truth. Keep fighting a good fight, studying the course, and keeping the faith. You see, these things must be done. You see, must be done. So Luke chapter 22, verse 20. And when ye shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies all around about now, with armies all around about, then know that the desolation thereof is nigh. It's coming, you see. Luke chapter 21, verse 21. Then let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains, and let them which are in the midst of it depart out. And let not them that are in the countries enter therein. You see? And enter what? Into the cities, because it's going to be a lot of chaos going on in the cities. When you see those long prison buses all lined up, and it's martial law, the prison buses are going to be lined up because they're going to be there to round up the young men, ages 18 through 32. It's going to be the draft going on at the same time. You see? And you're going to have where they're going to be using, the martial law police are going to be using drones. They're going to be using the robotic dogs that's got the rifle strapped to their backs. Some of the young guys are not even going to be able to make it to the battlefield because they're going to be shot and killed right here in the neighborhoods doing the roundup. You see? Doing the roundup, Operation Roundup. Many of the young guys are going to be taken on to the FEMA camps and to be taken to other nations to be made into slaves, and taken to the boot camp to be made into soldiers, to be placed on the front line and used as human shields. When you see them load up on those long prison buses with the gates on the windows, you're not going to see the young men no more. The mighty young men of war are going to be gone, and they're not coming back. They're going to be killed in the war. That's what the Bible tells us. Isaiah chapter 3, verse 25 and 26. Second, Ezra chapter 16, verse 33. Read on through, and so forth. Job chapter 3, verse 9. And so forth. Makes it clear. You see, makes it clear. Luke chapter 21, verse 22. For these be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled. You see, may be fulfilled. Verse 23. For woe, and woe means destruction. For woe unto them that are with children, because it's going to be a really bold time to have children at this time, because you're going to have it where you're going to have ain't gonna be no food. It's gonna be hard and difficult trying to feed yourself, let alone feeding the children. Ain't gonna be no food. Ain't gonna be no Similac. Ain't gonna be no baby formula. Ain't gonna be no baby food. Ain't gonna be no regular food. All the stores are going to be looted and raided and rifled through in people's homes. There's going to be mobs of guys going around during the time of martial law when it's nighttime and day. They're going to be creeping all down the alleys and in between people's houses. And they're going to be going through people's houses and rifling into their houses, killing people. Because some people got guns, some people don't. And the ones that ain't got guns, guess what? They're going to be shot, they're going to be beat, raped, and shot and killed. And if they ain't got no food, and they're going to be used as food. These are things that are going to be going on. You see, right here in Babylon, in America. Right here in the city of Detroit. You see? You see? And so, and to them that give suck in those days, that means those that be feeding to the breast, or just little arm babies, for there shall be great distress in the land, and a wrath upon this people. You see? Jerusalem talking about these people. You see? We are a people before we are a place. Verse 24. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword. That means they shall be killed, thrust through by a gun, shot to death. And shall be laid away captive, led away captive into all nations. See, sold as slaves through the FEMA camps. And Jerusalem shall be trodden down, the people, of the Gentiles. You see, Gentile foreigners, even those, until the ends of the Gentiles be fulfilled. You see, once those Gentiles that are over there now in Jerusalem, now that's talking about the land. Once those Gentiles that's over there in Jerusalem, once their time is fulfilled, then guess what? They're going to be trodden down. It's being trodden down now until their time is done. Once their time is done, they're out of there. They're out of there. The houses. Let's read the precepts on the houses of that verse. Zechariah chapter 14, verse 2. And we start off Isaiah chapter 13, verse 16. Their children also shall be dashed to pieces. That means killed before their eyes. That means you got to sit there and watch. Just like in Rwanda, when those orphanages that had Tutsi children, the Hutus, when they got there and they got to the children, remember they were trying to genocide, kill off the entire Tutsi race of peoples. Remember, Tutsis are Hamites and Hutus are Israelites. And so they started hacking and chopping the children, chopping and hacking and chopping them to death while people watched, while the mercenaries or whatever watched. You see, their houses shall be spoiled and their wives ravished. Lamentation chapter 1, verse 10. The adversary had spread out his hand upon all her pleasant things. You see, stole, took control of, grabbed up. For she had, talking about Jerusalem, the people, us, the northern kingdom. For she had seen that the heathen entered into her sanctuary, whom thou didst command that they should not enter into thy congregation. But they did anyway, you see. And they got to pay for that. Lamentation chapter 5, verse 11. They ravished the women. That means raped. Ravished the women in Zion. And, you see, and the maids in the cities of Judah. You see, talking about the 2/3 of the nation of Israel, and what our people, what the northern and the southern kingdom is going to be going through during the time of the siege, during the time of Yahweh's troubles. This is what we're going to be going through. The people are going to be going through, you see. Lamentation chapter 5, verse 12. Princes are hanged up by their hand. You see, held captive. The faces of elders were not honored. That means they was beaten up. Even the old people was beaten up. Amos chapter 7, verse 17. Therefore, thus saith the Lord, thy wife shall be an harlot in the city, a hoe, flat out. And thy sons and thy daughters shall fall by the sword. That means shot dead. You hear me? That means shot dead. And thy land shall be divided by line, and thou shalt die in a polluted land. You see? You see? And so all these things are forthcoming. These are prophecies. And Israel shall surely go into captivity. You see? You see? Revelation chapter 2, verse 10. You see? And some of us shall be martyrs, become martyrs for Yahushua's sake. You see? Fourth of his land. You see? You see? Matthew chapter 24, verse 19. And woe, that means destruction, unto them that are with children. You see? Because it's going to be very hard. Every man, woman, and child is going to be on their own. You see? Woe unto them that are with children, and to them that give suck in those days. Because it's going to be hard. Matthew 24 and 20. But pray ye that your flight be not in the winter. That means it's going to be cold as hell. People are freeze to death, especially the children and seniors. Neither on the Sabbath day, you see, a day of rest. Verse 21, for then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time. You see? So that means it's going to be a great devastation. Great, and something that has never been before. And it's going to be sudden how it all starts. It's going to be all of a sudden. You see? To this time, no, nor ever shall be. You see? Now here's talking about the residue. Luke chapter 21, verse 24. And it reads, and they shall fall by the edge of the sword. That means they're going to be shot dead, thrust through, and shall be led away captive. You see, FEMA camps. You see, martial law. The draft into all nations, and Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the time of the Gentiles be fulfilled. When that time comes, it shall be. Okay. Isaiah chapter 65, verse 6. You know what? Let me take the time right now to remind you to press the like button. Okay? Press the like button. Go ahead and press that like button, because by doing so, that helps to put this YouTube channel into the algorithms of YouTube, which is a good thing, as well as this video. Plus, also, press the subscription button. Press the subscription button. Go ahead and press the subscription button if you haven't done so already, and press the subscription button. And press the notification bell, so that way you will receive notification alerts each time that I post a new video full of spiritual meat for your spiritual edification. Okay? And Thawada for that. Now, Isaiah, let's get back into this. Isaiah chapter 65, verse 6. Behold, it is written before me, I will not keep silent, but will recompense unto their bosoms. Right up to their face. You see? And probably with pestilence. You see? Verse 7. Your iniquities and the iniquities of your fathers together. You see, and heap them upon the people. You see, of the nations of Israel. Okay, the 12 tribes, the 2/3. Saith the Lord, which have burned incense upon the mountains and blasphemed me upon the hills. Therefore will I measure their former work into their bosom. That means the wrong that they've done is going to be visited back unto them. You see, Salakia. Drink a little water there. This here is verse 8. Okay. Thus saith the Lord, as the new wine is found in the cluster, and one saith, destroy it not, for a blessing is in it. You see, so will I do for my servants' sake, that I may not destroy them all. You see, the water for that, Lord. Verse 9, and I will bring forth a seed out of Jacob, you see, and out of Judah, an inheritor of my mountains, and mine elect shall inherit it. You see that? And my elect shall inherit it, and my servants shall dwell there. You see? You see? The kingdom is promised to us. Salvation is promised to the elect. Remember Romans chapter 11, verse 7. The election have obtained it, but the rest have not. You see? Remember that. Isaiah chapter 65, verse 18. But be ye glad and rejoice forever in that which I created. For behold, I create Jerusalem a rejoicing, and her people a joy. You see? You see? We're going to read a couple more of these and go ahead and close the video out. Okay? This is Zechariah chapter 13, verse 8. And it shall come to pass that in all the land, saith the Lord, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die. Talking about the 2/3. But the third shall be left therein. Talking about the 1/3. Verse 9. And I will bring the third part through the fire. Talking about the 1/3. And that's us. And will refine them as silver is refined. And will try them as gold is tried. And they shall call on my name, and I will hear them. And I will say, it is my people. And they shall say, the Lord is my God, my Elohiah. Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rekakodash. You see? Matthew chapter 24, verse 22. And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. See, and we're happy that the Lord has shortened these days for who? The elect's sake, for our sake. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. You see? For our sake. You see, Romans chapter 9, verse 27. Isaiah also cried concerning Israel. Though the number of the children of Israel be as the sand of the sea, a remnant shall be saved. You see, a remnant shall be saved. Romans chapter 9, verse 28. For he will finish the work and cut it short in righteousness, because a short work will the Lord make upon the earth. You see? You see? Verse 29. And as for Isaiah, it said before, except the Lord of Sabaoth have had had left us a seed, we had been as Sodoma, and been made like unto Gomorrah. You see? You see Galatians chapter 4, verse 26. But Jerusalem, which is above, is free, which is the mother of us all. You see? For it is written, rejoice, thou barren that bearest not. Break forth and cry, thou that travelest not. For the desolate hath many more children than she which had an husband. And so we're going to go ahead and end the video off right there. Okay, we're going to end it off right there. Thank you ever so much for watching. Hopefully you were provoked to thought, and Lord's willing, you were edified. You received spiritual edification, spiritual meat. Okay, that what you need for your spiritual body. So we'd like to give all praises and all honors to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushua, by Hashem Kakodash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of the great millstone and taught us this truth. Peace and salutation to the hopeful elects. And remember, press the like button. Go ahead and press that like button, and also press the subscription button. And press the notification bell so that you can receive notification alerts each time that I release another video for your spiritual edification. Shalom to the hopeful elects.